What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of DC TV, brought to you by Total Wireless, the official wireless provider of UFC. They're in your corner with unlimited 5G data that will not slow you down. When we were in Vegas last weekend for the pay-per-view, we had all these fights. They had one of those season kickoff pressers that we used to do, and we got a number of fights. One fight that we got that honestly started to break before it became known was Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Now, Justin Gaethje pretty much said if he didn't get the title fight, he was going to retire from fighting. You know what's funny? I heard about the fight, so Justin and I are friends, so I call him and start giving him shit. I go, hey, so I'm just a normal person now. I got to find out about the fight from just a normal person, like everybody else. He's like, wait, what? You're telling me? I was like, I'm not telling you. But he tried to pretend that he had no idea. I don't buy that for a second. I believe that he knew. He didn't tell me because I do this now. I found out from the manager of the guy who many thought was in the title fight, and he wasn't, Arman Tsarukyan. Arman Tsarukyan came on the channel 2 days after his fight, and he spoke about beating Dan Hooker and how he felt that would be enough to warrant a championship opportunity. We, as the MMA community, operated as if him going out there and fighting Dan Hooker was going to be enough to warrant him getting a championship opportunity. There's a large section of the mixed martial arts fan base who believes that now that Islam Makhachev is not at 155 anymore, Arman Tsarukyan may be the only guy that truly can challenge Ilia Topuria. With that being said, we just kind of thought he was next. It just felt like he was next. I made a video talking about how I believed he was next. But now that's been completely debunked, not only by the idea or honestly the fact of Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett fighting each other. Paddy Pimblett, by the way, looked in phenomenal shape in Las Vegas, and he's still 8 weeks away from the fight. He is not Fatty Patty at all, guys. He looked in great shape as he's getting ready to fight JG. Anyhow, we as a community of people who watched this thing kind of felt like he was going to be next. The interim title fight gets announced. It then immediately throws things up in arms like, well, then what's it mean for Tsarukyan? Because generally the timeline works like this. Champion goes out. Ilia's having some personal issues. And hats off to Ilia for being honest about that. Hopefully Ilia can get through that and get back to doing what makes him so special sooner rather than later. Because he is the best. I said Arman may be the guy that can challenge him, because not many have proven to have the ability to challenge him lately. He has been that good. Dana's at the post-fight press conference the other day, and he's asked about Arman Tsarukyan. And guys, we know that when Arman Tsarukyan didn't fight in Los Angeles, that is a massive black eye for a fighter and a promotion. And guess what? Rightfully so. Rightfully so. And anybody that tells you any different, they're not being completely truthful. Because anytime you lose a main event, it doesn't matter what happens as the chips fall, you still lost the main event. When these fights are put together and they're built for something, sponsors are brought on, promotional materials are taken care of. Getting a fight ready to go to market is a big deal. So anytime a fight gets canceled 24 hours before a fight, it's not good. And it sounded like right after that, Arman was going to have to do a lot of good favor to get back into position A to fight for the belt. Here's where I thought he had done that. I thought that when Charles Oliveira fought Ilia, and he weighs in as the backup fighter. I mean, the backup fighter is probably the most, it's the most unthankful job in fighting, because you get into a training camp, cut all the weight, you make the weight, and you really get nothing but your show money to go for it. You don't get to fight. That's what you want to do. You don't get to do that. You go step on that scale, and unless something happens, you don't get to fight. And most times, nothing happens. Most times, nothing happens. You know what's kind of like poetic justice is that when he weighed in as the backup fighter, if anything would have happened with him in January, he would have gotten that title opportunity. But we all kind of expected him to do that good favor. Then he goes and fights Dan Hooker, smashes him, completely destroys him. Good favor. You should think that would be enough for him to say. But here's where my biggest question is. When Dana says Arman knows, when he says Arman knows, I'm like, well, are they already speaking to him about this and what he's doing? Because he goes, I wouldn't say that Arman is the odd man out. He said he had an opportunity. You guys know how that played out. He's going to have to work his way back. I don't give a shit what number is next to your name. You're going to have to work your way back. Look, again, I get it. But I weighing in as the backup fighter, fighting Dan Hooker, those are all steps towards regaining that confidence in the organization to get him a title fight. I still believe that Arman Tsarukyan should be fighting for some version of the UFC lightweight championship. But when Dana says Arman knows, what did they talk about privately that we don't know? Is there a set of stops? Maybe there's a set of obstacles or hurdles, or there's a baseline of what he needs to do in order to get back there, and we just don't know about it. Because he goes, Arman knows. He didn't say, well, Arman just ain't getting it. He said, Arman knows. When I hear that, I'm like, well, maybe these guys have spoken about something, and he has parameters set in front of him that will then tell him when it's his time to fight for the UFC championship. He's so good, though, that I don't know how many fights are risky enough to really stop him from winning his way back to an opportunity to fight for the belt. A lot of people believe he's the best lightweight in the world that Islam's gone. I'm not saying I'm one of them, but there are a number of people that believe that. He deserves a title fight. He deserves a title fight. His style is a nightmare for every guy that's right now hanging around the belt. But if he doesn't get moving, there's going to be an interim champion in January. The champion is going to be back sometimes next year. The BMF title is on the line. Max Holloway defends that thing again. Now he is a viable challenge for the lightweight championship. Arman Tsarukyan, by doing those things, haven't gotten closer to a title fight. I would say he's either exactly where he started, and if we get through January, I don't know if he's going to be further away than he was. I think it's crazy. I think this guy's number one contender. He should get an opportunity. But let me know what you guys think. Jump in those comments. Tell me what you think about Arman Tsarukyan and where he should be fighting and who he should be fighting. And Luis is going to throw a poll in that. We want to kind of know Arman Tsarukyan or Ilia Topuria. Let us hear those thoughts. Until next time, guys, like, subscribe, and tell your friends I got a YouTube channel. I'm doing things like this. Until next time, peace. Judgment Day, a colossal global showdown between two of boxing's biggest stars, the Disruptor International Superstar and WBA number 14 ranked cruiserweight Jake El Gallo Del Dorado Paul, who's 12-1 with 7 knockouts, and two-time unified WBO, WBA, and IBF heavyweight world champion. And guys, he also was an Olympic gold medalist, the knockout artist that is Anthony Joshua. Joshua, by the way, is 28-4 with 25 knockouts. This matchup unites Jake Paul, the sport's most watched fighter whose showmanship has kind of, honestly, he's redefined boxing, and he shattered records at every single turn. You can love him or hate him, but this is just the truth. Anthony Joshua is one of boxing's most accomplished, respected. He's also one of the most feared punchers in the world of boxing. This dude has headlined sold-out stadiums across the UK and beyond. Jake Paul will face the most dangerous and defining fight of his entire career against Joshua, Britain's two-time unified heavyweight world champion, and also the Olympic gold medalist. It's crazy how Anthony Joshua's Olympic gold medal is like secondary to everything he's done in boxing because he's been so good. They'll fight in a professional heavyweight mega fight. It's going to be scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds. They'll fight in 10-ounce gloves. So watch Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua Friday, December 19th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live only on Netflix. What an event. This is going to be crazy.